The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour. And yeah, I know, but we're about there. I had to reboot right before the show here, so I'm still kind of catching up with a lot of the stuff that should be out here and up on my screen already. And we shall see. Let's see. Okay. 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 Let me get this back up. We're almost there. Okay. So what do we have going on today? Well, we're at the kind of the low end of the range for options, but they weren't showing any kind of blowout. As we said over the last bit, it looks a great deal like we're in a hurry up and wait mode as we slowly go back and test the mid 3,700 area on the S&P cash. But kind of as we said, starting last Friday, we're probably in a hurry up and wait. Today was the hurry up and wait for the CPI numbers. And now it'll be the hurry up and wait for earnings over the next, day or so. We'll go through some of those. Did I say? Yeah, okay. I wanted to make sure I had everything back up and running here, because you never know. You always reboot, you always wonder, okay, what got reset? What changed? What happened? Everything says it's here. Anyway, we'll go through the rest. And of course, it doesn't really matter where you're at or where I'm at, as long as we're together at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And see what else we have. Okay. Okay, let's just go through these real quick. We had a nice range this morning. S&Ps were up about 15 seconds before the numbers, about 40 points or maybe right after. It was kind of hard to see whether or not they were delayed or not. But they rented up about 40 points, then down about 60 points. So there was about a 100-point range on those CPI numbers. And, of course, at the very beginning, everybody's thinking, well, these are horrible and things are bad. They're just going to get better. And then a lot of people started thinking, well, this is probably the worst reading we're going to get, and inflation's probably going to go lower. But, it's compounding. It's not static. 7% over 8% is still horrifically bad, and probably twice as bad as just 8%. So we're kind of a tale of two cities right now. The people thinking that maybe the worst is over. The market tends to look 6 months ahead in advance, and maybe there'll be a lot of change in that. We've got a little bit of movement in crude below $100. I see even a little bit of interest in gold, and everybody's jumping up and down. I continue to think that the setup out here is for something in the range of the SPYs, about 380 to 385, maybe through tomorrow. And then we'll see what happens. But I've been watching the options pretty much all day long. I didn't get excited one way or the other because they really haven't blinked very much. They don't know. So maybe today they're selling lots of of puts, and tomorrow maybe they'll be selling lots of calls, and Friday we'll see what the proof of the pudding is in expiration. Anyway, we've had light volume. We've had, in fact, somebody asked about this, so I want to get to it. And that is, okay, let's see what else we have. What am I thinking here? I wanted to talk about, we talk about confluence, but I want to talk to you about something else that I look for, and it's called, I've heard it called congruence, not in the mathematical sense, but in the sense of if someone's talking to you and they're calling you a bunch of names and they've got a big smile on their face, maybe they're just your friend busting your naughty bits. But if someone's got a horrible scowl and they're screaming stuff at you, well, you think they're probably, that's the way they actually feel. They're not just giving you a hard time. And I want markets that actually tell me the same thing that they're acting about. And as I said, there weren't a lot of short sellers out there, which made me worry about the downside. But at the same time, volume was light as we pushed higher and lower. So there's enough signs on both sides to just say the market's got a lot of indecision. And the quickest way to lose a lot of money is get into a market that's range bound and be on the wrong side of each move and just get chopped to death. I've seen lots of traders over the years, especially in my early days when I was in much bigger trading rooms, with a pack of animals. Let's just say what they were. They all thought that if they all ganged up on a single stock, it would help them out. And of course, we've had those people that have come and gone again. I remember this ad that ran for a while, and I made fun of it, but let's play it again.
Eat, sleep, and trade. Eat, sleep, and trade. Eat, sleep, and trade, baby.
Yeah, the hucksters were out there. I saw somebody briefly as I was turning the TV on today, and it came up on CNBC, and they were talking about hucksters in NFTs and cryptocurrencies. And I was just wondering what tipped them off, and why did CNBC wait a couple of good years when they could have been warning people off a long time ago. But as I said, there's just a lot of signals, both pro and con. And at this point, I like Mr. Miyagi, because I learned pretty much of most of my parables from that and Kung Fu. But best way to avoid fight, not be there. If you want to play the 5, 10-minute, 15-minute charts now, I think that's something you can do. Anything longer, I'm driving like I'm in a snowstorm in the middle of a hurricane with a tornado on my back bumper. I don't think I want to go too fast right now. But I think by Friday we're going to resolve this. Be back in a minute.
Of booming inflation, where your purchasing power is eroded, there's no better place to protect your hard-earned money than in gold. Vista Gold's flagship asset is the Mount Todd Gold Project in the Northern Territory of Australia. This is Australia's largest undeveloped gold project. We are talking a world-class gold project in a Tier 1 mining district. This is a large-scale, low-cost project with significant existing infrastructure in a politically safe and friendly mining jurisdiction. Vista Gold just completed the Mount Todd feasibility study, which resulted in a 7 million ounce gold reserve and a 16-year mine life. All of this, combined with the approvals of all major operational as well as environmental permits. This distinguishes Mount Todd as an attractive, de-risk partner, ready development stage gold project. Vista Gold trades on the New York Stock Exchange under the symbol VGZ.
Are you grinding in the market, but seeing little to no return? Or are you a successful trader, simply looking to make your job a little easier? Learn to take the path of least resistance with David White's powerful trading newsletter. David White is an accomplished trader whose deep understanding of technology and the markets allows him to consistently find and share winning trades. Support and resistance define the ranges in which stocks trade. By understanding these trading ranges, David White is able to find the path of least resistance. David White's trading newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, is delivered daily before the markets open to make every trading day an easy win. Visit TFNN.com today and subscribe to David White's Ultimate Trading Newsletter for $119 a month. And try all of our newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Take the path of least resistance at TFNN, educating investors. Are you looking for a way to consistently add winning trades to your portfolio? Tom O'Brien is here to help. Tom O'Brien has been successfully trading markets for over 30 years. A frequent contributor to TD Ameritrade Network and CNBC, Tom O'Brien founded TFNN over 20 years ago to help educate investors just like you. Tom's daily market newsletter, Market Insights, is published every morning when the markets open to give you the competitive informational edge you need to succeed. These newsletters are packed full of Tom's advanced technical analysis and are geared to deliver comprehensive strategies for a successful portfolio. Get Tom O'Brien's newsletter, Market Insights, today and try all of our products and newsletters 30 days risk-free with our money-back guarantee at TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And we return. And Ben asks, newbie on options, why would you want to sell a call instead of buying a put? I was mostly affected by a book called Fooled by Randomness by Nassim Taleb. And without reading that, I'll give you the cliff notes. But if you're trading options, I think you should look at it. And he kind of turns all the arguments on its head for what you want to do. And I think there's a great passage in it. Maybe I can remember it. But he talks about Jimmy Rogers, and they did a survey in the late 90s of 85% of all options went and expired worthless. So, you probably wanted to be a seller of options. Well, that worked all well until 9/11 and the pandemic and a whole lot of other things. The idea is that if you buy a put or a call, you can't lose any more than you put into it. Why, if you sell something, not always, but you can lose a great deal more. Most of the time, you're going to win. The problem is that selling puts and calls is all about what other people will price it at. Now, maybe you can get, maybe you're a great horse, what do they call it? Where they put odds on the horses. I forget. Not a horse bettor, but they've got handicappers. That's what it is, isn't it? Yeah. Handicap. I broke his knee. Now he's got a handicap. I remember that one. Anyway, the idea is that Jimmy Rogers didn't take in account what happens. And this is why I tend to be a kind of a different trader than most, is after reading that, I witnessed the wisdom of not always trying to make money on a daily basis. And just put out a lot of buckets when it's raining cash. But the idea that 85% of all options go unexercised is kind of worthless if you don't know how much money was made on the other 15% when they went into the money. And the idea that, you could have 10 losing bets in a row and lose 100% on each one, but if you didn't bet all your money and you get 50-1 on the 11th bet, are you a good trader or not? Suddenly you're 40 times better off than you were doing the other. So I've not been a big, all the spreads and the condors and all that. They tend to, you can make money, but it's a grind. I like to wait until, as I call it, the fat pitch is out there. And that means that you have to sit around on your hands a great deal. Most traders can't do it. Most professional traders that you see on TV work for somebody, and they have to always be doing something to act like they're making their money. I can wait until there is a great position to be had. I don't feel like I have to trade all the time. Another great book out there is Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, where he talks about most traders acting like they are working for a daily wage. And not, and most of those folks and most of the big people on Wall Street have huge losses because they're trading when they probably shouldn't. And so I saw that book in, I want to say 2003. I wrote my article on how I trade options in late 2004. It got into the Christmas edition of Stocks and Commodities. I've written other articles, all under pseudonyms for other magazines, and I won't ever publish those again, mostly because I just got tired of dealing with people that just wanted to argue, didn't want to at least say that there's more ways to heaven than a single God. And a lot of people, I know other people can make money other ways. All I want to do is know that I can go to sleep tonight, and guess what? I'm not going to get wiped out tomorrow. Now, there's some times in the market where you can trade equities, and the risk reward is great. But when you're waiting on news headlines and that kind of stuff, it's not. But there have been a lot of people that sold options that went broke. Everybody will tell you that they did real well until 9/11 or the break for the pandemic or a bunch of other things. But your loss is not limited when you sell options, and so I'm not a big fan of doing so. I want to know that what I've put up is all that I can lose. And it's kind of the equivalent of playing poker against a bunch of people in Las Vegas and then going to a tournament where you put in your $5,000 or your $10,000, and you can just kiss that goodbye right then. Just play as well as you can to the end of it, but you've already known how much you're going to lose. You could go in and lose $100,000 at a poker table at the Bellagio. So are you better off? Well, I don't know if your odds are better, but I like that kind of play much better. I want to know what my risk is going in. So that is why. Doesn't mean you can't make money other ways. A lot of traders on this channel that have their own programs trade different things. They trade different time frames. They trade different vehicles. And you got to find something that works for you, that lets you sleep at night, that allows you to live the life you want to do. And if you're a 9:30 to 4 o'clock trader and you're trading 5-minute charts, God bless you. I know a lot of people that have made a living that way. For me, I'm better off waiting for, as I call it, the fat pitch. 877-927-6648. Todd asked what I thought about the Disney chart. I think we talked a great deal about it yesterday, didn't we? Or was it the day before? I continue to think that there's some pretty horrible days coming in front of it, but it looked not as bad as one would think. The problem is that you need to get back above 99.47 to be back into the trading range. You really didn't break that low on higher volume, but you haven't traded back in there. Now there's a gap right about 102. If you can put the industry together and kind of know the great part of what's going on in Hollywood and their theme parks, you can get a better idea on it. But we'll talk about this again when we return.
If you want to take advantage of this sector, now is the time to subscribe to my Gold Report. The Gold Report is a comprehensive look at the metal sector as well as the markets that move gold, which is the currency and bond markets. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. Every Monday morning, I publish the Gold Report with coverage of gold, silver, bonds, the XAU, HUI, JDX, as well as more than 30 different mining equities. To see for yourself the types of profitable trades that are recommended within the Gold Report, sign up now by visiting TFNN.com. Don't miss out on the next great gold trade. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Chart. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And you caught me drinking some stuff and eating some stuff so I could be ready for what's happening. Anyway, we were talking about Disney. And, you can make a case that you might have some kind of low out here. Let's see. You did test the lows a little lighter. Energy was a little bit back out of it. If you're playing it for a bounce, that's fine. But we talked about it Monday or Tuesday. There are 620 shows now in production in Hollywood. there's just far too much content, and this is going to need to weed itself out. Everybody's just going to go to whatever's hot lately, and that brings up Netflix, which did I talk about this yet? NFLX, who's actually the hot thing right now with Stranger Things being the top show, and basically getting all the young kids telling their parents that they need Netflix or want to watch it. Netflix? Is it Netflix or Amazon? Yeah, it's Netflix. And strangely enough, one of the best musical artists of, I think, all time, although she wasn't a big deal. Most people don't even know her name. Kate Bush. Is that even? Yeah, is that her name? Yeah. Just a fantastic singer from the very late 70s and early 80s, who made some absolutely fantastic albums. But she's the first over 60 person to have a number one on the charts this week for her song, mostly because it was in Stranger Things. And so you can get kind of an idea of who's buying what and who's watching what. But you don't have any of that real magic now in Disney. So I think it's going to be a lot of who's got the fastest horse with the latest project. Of course, you've got HBO coming out with a Game of Thrones part 2 kind of thing. I think that comes out in September. And we really don't think of HBO as that kind of big streaming company, but they're moving that way. But there's just a ton of stuff, and the really good stuff gets a lot of action. Stuff that people really like, and the other stuff kind of comes and goes. And right now, other than looking for The Mandalorian number 3, I don't think anybody's looking for anything on Disney. But all of them are going to suffer until we have kind of a fairly large shakeout in Netflix. Let's go to a tale of the tape. And we had some action in earnings today, but I don't think it really did much for the stocks themselves. I mean, if you just saw this chart, you wouldn't think that Delta Airlines had earnings comparatively with the rest of the day, but certainly down a little bit off of yesterday's trading range. But is it a big thing? It doesn't look like. It's more about fuel costs going forward. The one that gives me a little pause is Fastenal. These guys actually sell nuts and bolts and gives you a good indication of just how much business there is going on in the manufacturing sector here in the United States. And the big gap down is telling you that there's probably a big slowdown. If factories need parts and machinery and General Motors or the rest, it's all about it. You have gone through the previous low with with about the same volume at the moment, but you're going to have higher volume. You need a close above 48.10 to stay into the ball game. Right now, you're at 47.20, so a buck underneath that doesn't look good, and that would be one of the things that I would say is a bigger issue. Now, tomorrow is really what I'm suspecting is going to be the big movers, and why we probably shouldn't put too much effort into what we see in the CPI numbers. I think a lot of people are going to forget it if you're not in the bond market. They're probably going to think the worst is in. And, of course, it is always darkest before it gets totally dark. J.P. Morgan kind of hanging at the lows going into earnings. Maybe they've got some skeletons they want to get out of the closet for counterparty risks in Russia, some other stuff. Hard to say. It's staying in the trading range, at least today, 8 million shares opposed to the 30 million shares back on June 23rd and the 12.5 million shares on July 5th. So you're kind of still in there, and the volume's a little lighter. But I don't like stocks that hang out at lows. They're more than likely to bust through those lows, and when they hang out at highs, they're more than likely to hang out at the highs. Speaking of evil, we'll go to Morgan Stanley. Tongue-in-cheek for those folks. Not a whole lot going on in this one either. And this kind of sums up the entire market that I went through last night and today, and that is most stocks are not getting higher highs, and they are not getting significantly lower lows on the whole. You could always pick out a handful of stocks that are weaker or stronger. But I would say half the stocks in the market right now are doing this. They're coming up with a lot of energy. They came back but didn't bust the lows. They tested on lighter volume and started to bounce. They got up a little bit and volume fell out. Now they're coming back down today and lighter volume. So we're setting up these triangles, and they're going to get to some point. And probably it will be what we talk about all the time in these triangles, and that is 80% of the time they bust out with a head fake in the wrong direction. So if you're feeling bullish here, the thing that we'd love to see is a real blowout to the downside that just came right back. Not today's kind of thing, but I mean one that was some serious sweating and people and gnashing of teeth and blood raining from the skies, toads. I mean, real kind of biblical kind of things that we saw people just unable to cope with prices, even if they don't move that much. I want the psychological damage to be done and for them to sell their stocks at the lows to set that up, or at the highs. But these triangles tend to set up that thing where they will bust out to the wrong side most of the time, not all, but 4 out of 5 times. And then you take the opposite side of that, and generally I'll buy puts or calls, depending on which side it is, and clean up. Because 4 out of 5 times you can buy out of the money calls, and they're probably going to go back into the money fairly quickly. Not all the time, but one of the few times you can actually get an edge on the market. We'll be back with cats and dogs living together, real Wrath of God stuff.
TFNN has been your trusted source of analysis for bonds, metals, stocks, commodities, and options for years. And we are happy to announce that we are bringing that same caliber of analysis for the Forex market. Teddy Keckstad has 30-plus years of experience in Forex trading, commodity risk management, Forex hedging, volatility, and so much more. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex report every Monday morning with elite coverage of all major currency pairs, including the DXY, Euro dollar, Pound dollar, Aussie dollar, dollar yen, dollar Swiss franc, and so much more. Teddy will recommend specific trades when the market presents them and provide updates throughout the week when warranted. For the month of July, inaugural members to the Tiger Forex Report will receive 25% off the monthly subscription for as long as they're subscribed. Just use promo code TEDDY25 to lock in the added savings. This offer is good only for the month of July, so do not miss your opportunity to save on the Tiger Forex Report. TFNN, educating investors.
Technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
As we're back, as I said, tomorrow is probably going to be a fairly big day in earnings. We've got before market open, J.P. Morgan and Morgan Stanley. One of the other big ones in the SMH is going to be Taiwan Semiconductor. Estimates $1.47. Just going sideways after the bounce. Volume about flat, about 5 days in a row. So I don't know how you can actually make anything out of it other than it's going sideways. You got gaps above and gaps below. The downside would suggest something like 76.50, where there's a double gap, and the upside maybe 83, unless we had a bunch of people go short. But don't see a lot of that. Some of the other ones that'll give us a little bit of cookie crumbs into how actually the market is doing. Cintas is a big uniform company. When they're doing well, it means that we continue to see people being hired. When they're doing poorly, not a good sign. That is another one that is before the market open. So I think you want to be looking at this, not in the sense that you want to play it, but that it gives you some tea leaves or some lamb bones to throw on top of the lid of a garbage can if you're in the Dominican Republic to tell the future. But all you got is a big kind of blowout this morning and then move back up, and not a whole lot. So don't know if you've got anything out there. But that kind of it. See if there's anything else. Cintas, Taiwan Semiconductor, Conagra Brands. I haven't looked at that in a while. Let's take a quick look. You can get hold of me at 877-927-6648 or email me at path@tfnn.com. Conagra Foods looks like it's still trying to get back up and say hello to his little friends. May 10th and April 21st of this year, both around the $5 million area. Today, you got about 3.6 million shares. Yesterday, 3.3. Day before, about 4.4. So you're probably fairly close to coming back up to this $37 level. And I would imagine that's going to be the decision point. Hard to say longer term here. Let's take a look. It just looks like just a monster trading range in that. I don't know if you can make a great deal about it. Questions about anything going on Friday? We do have some earnings on Friday. United Health Group, UNH. Let's take a quick look at them. Yeah, they've kind of kind of rolled over here a bit. A lot of thought that these healthcare providers are going to made a lot of money because no one went to the hospitals because they were all afraid they would die of COVID. So they went and died of other things. But again, the insurance companies didn't have to pay for those, so they were much in favor of that. But we do have a great deal of lighter volume out here at support at 507. So what's today out here? 504.90. But you have that high on May 26th kind of acting as support. You broke out. You had a lot of juice. When you did it, you never really continued to move higher. But it was a bear market. And it is a bear market until it proves that it's not. We also have in the banking sector, we have Citigroup on Friday morning and Wells Fargo. Actually, Citigroup is the best looking one. You'd want this thing to really have some movement today or tomorrow before it pops. But certainly 36 million shares back on May 12th at 45.40 to 44.66 today on 20 million shares. You hope that the volume remains light and it does close above that 45.40. But again, I don't know if it matters that much in front of earnings. The redheaded stepchild of banking, Wells Fargo, is back into one of those kind of big triangle patterns with about 41.50 being the high side of the trading range, and on this one 36.54 if it fails. So not a lot of risk reward to the upside in that one. To State Street, don't have much going on in that. Wells Fargo, the Progressive, BlackRock. Does BlackRock really move the market much? I don't think it does. I've never really heard anybody say a lot about it. But the BlackRock, in parentheses for some reason, is down here on very light volume. And I do like this pattern. So I wouldn't buy it before earnings, never do. But I do like that you had on May 19th a nice low at 582 with 2.3 million shares. You went and busted that with 1 million shares, and you had a nice bounce and popped right back into the trading range. Today, you went and attacked it again with just under 400,000 shares right now. So if you're looking for something with no volume at the lows, that's it. If this thing had decent earnings, I don't know what about it makes other people find it attractive. But if it passes earnings, it's probably going to do okay through the next earnings cycle. Okay, what else do we have? U.S. Bank Corp, State Street, don't have much in that. Let's look ahead to next week. On Monday, continuing with the theme of banks and earnings, we've got Bank of America, not the Americas, but of America, the one America, the one true America. Going back into 4 days, and those 4 days from the 30th of June through the 6th of July, you got a little lighter volume out here, but I don't see a lot. In a higher interest rate, these things should be doing well, and they are not, which is telling you that there's something else going on. One of the stocks that's held up the best, but I haven't seen anything that would say I want to buy it into earnings, has been IBM. It certainly came off the lows, never really did all the retracement. Maybe it'll be a very positive call for IBM, but I'm not a betting man. The Goldman Sachs, the better angels of our nature, the Goldman Sachs, they're here for us. They want to help the small guy out as much as they can. Again, tongue in cheek for those people that don't get it. Had a wonderful gap higher. Wonderful gap higher on the 24th for the Goldman Sachs. Okay, we'll go through those. I haven't been watching that too much. You had a huge day up on the 24th of June. That was almost 4 million shares. You're back into that gap where it gapped up on 1.2 million, 1.3 million shares. So doesn't really look that bad. When we come back, got some requests for some other stocks, and we'll take a look.
Vista Gold owns and operates the largest undeveloped gold project in Australia, the Mount Todd Gold Project. Vista Gold just completed their feasibility study, resulting in a 7 million ounce gold reserve. Vista Gold has all major permits approved and has retained CIBC capital market assistance in evaluating alternatives and in completing an accretive transaction. Vista Gold trades on the NYSE American and TSX under the ticker symbol VGZ. Vista Gold, executing a strategy to create shareholder value.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And had a question to look at Photronics. Took off very well, came back, had a fairly good test of the lows. Well, not the lows, the gap that it had on the 25th of May. Looks like a nice ABC, and that would be a rather large one if it ends up doing that. Let's take a look at the expansion on this one. Let's see. Let's see. Let's make that the A. We'll make that one the B, and we'll make that one the C, and C. What we got? Well, it retraced too much. So that's the problem with it. That generally you got a 67% retracement, which is generally a little much. You did it on light volume, which is fine. So it means that you're probably going to consolidate here before you actually get some kind of nice ABC action. But when it does start moving, the next 1-to-1 out of this, it can be a kind of a congestion zone out here between 19 and 20 bucks. But above that, 25.89. And the future is photonics. I'm going to have to look at more about what photonics does. And it's not FAU, faux, or is it FAUX, faux? Not that kind of faux. Photonics as in light. But looks good. Anyway, we'll know a great deal more tomorrow after we're looking at earnings in the morning. I think that's really going to move the market. Basically flat on the day now. So kind of what we were looking for in the newsletter, which is kind of a whole lot of nothing until we get through earnings tomorrow. I think that everybody will just assume that whatever happens tomorrow is going to hang on through the rest of earnings season. So I think late tomorrow and Friday are going to be some big days. We'll be back like a bad rash tomorrow. Sell when you can, not when you have to.
Building wealth trading in the stock market seems impossible to